YouTube, what is good? It's your man Ribs from Doing Film Things. We're doing one take today again. It was fun to do that last time, so let's do it this time again. So, today we're talking about this guy right here. And no, I'm not talking about the camera. This is the Canon 7. I'm talking about this giant lens that you see right here. You can't unsee it. I mean, it's literally bigger than the camera, definitely by weight. This lens here is the Canon 50mm 0.95 lens. Just look at how massive this element is. It's just huge. There's nothing really else to say about it. So this is what they call the Dream Boy lens. And I say they because when I posted about this on Instagram, everybody was like, the Dream Boy, the Dream Boy. And I didn't know that was the name of it. So, you know, I learned something there. But yeah, apparently this lens is extremely sought after. It's a very classic Canon lens, kind of one of those folkloric lenses you hear about and see on the internet. And yeah, it's extremely pricey nowadays as well. This lens is not mine. This lens is borrowed from a good friend, good photography friend who decided, hey, you know what? You've got a cool YouTube channel. I'm going to send you a lens so you can kind of mess with it. My friend's name is Jake, and he runs the Latent Lab. And it's actually a film developing lab here in the UK. It's kind of a startup. It's his own kind of project. And he's great. He's doing a lot of good stuff, and he's got a lot of clients coming in from within the UK. So if you're interested in that, we do have a discount code you'll see down below. And of course, some links as well to go check out the lab. Give him a shot. He's local in the UK, and I know nowadays a lot of other labs are swamped and have too many orders and, you know, not enough kind of bandwidth. So it'd be nice for you to check out an alternative if you need processing and you can't really wait. So yeah, that's him. So yeah, back to this. So yeah, he lent me this lens, and I just couldn't wait to have this lens and kind of use it on my camera because I have the Canon 7 rangefinder, and this lens was built to go exactly on this camera, or at least this line of cameras. So I couldn't wait. I got the lens, and there was one problem, and that is this right here. So you saw what I just did. I kind of rotated this. This is called the Bayonet Mount, and that's how you get this lens onto things. What had happened was it came with a Sony adapter latched onto here as well, and then of course the adapter was tie-in to hold it in place. It was tie-in to a point where I just couldn't get it off, and I muscled this. I used so much brute force. I tried my best. And honestly, I was worried because I didn't want to ruin this lens and kind of break it somehow by trying to brute force remove that filter, or not that filter, that mount. So eventually I gave up, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this. Hit up my friend, and he was like, hey, you should just be able to do it. So I paused on it for a bit. Eventually went on Instagram and said, hey, anybody got any ideas? And someone actually referred me to a local camera repairman here in the UK in London. And it's this guy that's very well known in the community. And I was like, fine, I'll hit him up. I hit him up. He said, hey, come to my apartment. I'll check it out. It's probably not a huge problem. And that's exactly what happened. Hopped on the tube, went over to his place over in Canary Wharf, and he hooked it up. I met him downstairs. I handed him the lens. And then 2 minutes later, he came back down from his apartment and was like, hey, we're all good. And he comes and he shows me, and he's got the adapter in one hand and then the lens in the other. So I was super relieved at that point, and I was very, very excited to get this lens on here. So that's exactly what I did. And as you see here, it's very simple. You know, you kind of just line up the lens. It has a little marking on it, that little red marking right there at the top. So I'll match that up with this red marking here, put that in, and that'll allow the kind of the joints to come together. And then all you gotta do is turn, and boom, turn, and it's locked. And it's different from the other lenses that I have. The other ones that I have are the classic M39 mount where you have to screw them on. You know, you gotta do a lot of turns until it finally secures itself. So, you know, it's an interesting change of pace to have this where all you do is kind of turn the bayonet a little bit and boom, it's in place. So I'm sure you're all waiting to see how does this lens perform. Well, I haven't used it too much yet. I did use it last night when I went to deliver a print to a friend. To Zane, actually. You all know Zane from this channel. And I took a couple photos around town. So I was walking around central London, and first, obviously, I took some portraits of Zane. And my goal here was just to kind of at least A, get him in focus, and B, you know, showcase that bokeh. And I think I did one of the two things. So as you can see in the sample here, tons of bokeh. This lens, it does exactly what it says it's going to do. And at 0.95, you get just absurd bokeh. It looks like nothing I've seen before. And obviously, there's other lenses out there that do amazing bokeh and are just amazing picture quality and all of the above. But the bokeh and kind of the general image on here looks very distinct. And I think it's because it's older optics. Also, it's 0.095, and it's also was designed for film. You know, this is an old piece of technology compared to a modern, you know, f1 lens or something. So it just looks very, very different. The other thing you can notice is that the face on that photo, so Zane's face, is not in focus. And I took two different images, and you can see them both here. Neither one of them is in focus. And at 0.095, even if you nail focus, you're still going to appear to have like something be out of focus because the depth of field is so shallow that if you get the tip of the nose correctly, everything else is going to be out of focus. If you get the eye maybe even the side of the eye won't be in focus. It's that kind of wild. So I'm not gonna blame the camera. I probably, missed the focus, but I feel like even if I nailed it, it probably still wouldn't be, super clean on the actual point that I focused on. This is evident in some of the other photos I have here. So for example, I have this photo of the casinos and or the slot machines, whatever you call them here in the UK. And as you can see, there's some parts of it that are very sharp, and then it kind of falls off very, very fast. And that's there's straight lines there. It's a machine, so it's kind of more easy to see that fall off. But when you have a human face that's round and maybe not pointed directly at you, and that already showcases soft skin and that kind of stuff, the fall off is fast and dramatic. So, this lens is a challenge to use, especially on the rangefinder. You can't see it here, but when I put this on my face like this, the lens itself is covering about half of that window. So, it's just all the challenges that you could possibly have for taking a photo. You've experienced them here. I have some other photos here. Actually, this is from within my apartment. I asked my fiance to simply hold out the wine glass in front of the Christmas tree. And my goal was to see how the lights on the Christmas tree kind of bokeh out. And in this photo, you can see that there is no Christmas tree. Well, the Christmas tree is there, but it looks like there's no Christmas tree because the bokeh is that insane. All you see is these random kind of specular highlights and then just nothing. If I told you there was a Christmas tree there and you didn't believe me, I would believe you for not believing me. It's just that nuts. And even the wine glass itself, again, I probably didn't hit the focus exactly as I should have, but you can see that you can make out there's a wine glass and then just very fast, it just goes boom, disappears. And the wine glass is curved, there's depth to it. So I'm not surprised that the front of the wine glass has a bit more detail and the rest of it doesn't. So a couple things to note here. Focusing is not easy. And that's in part because of the 0.95, but also this is a rangefinder. My camera's old and I never got this calibrated. I didn't even think about that. And it has no issues with my other lenses. So maybe it doesn't need to get calibrated, but it probably could help, especially when using this giant monstrosity of a lens. The other thing to note is that, this isn't very comfortable. It's heavy, it's front heavy. This lens just weighs so much more than the camera. It blocks part of the viewing window here for the rangefinder. You can still see the focusing patch, but you have this and then your hand's in the way because of the fact that, you have to turn the lens. Like, it is just not comfortable at all to shoot. With that said though, I love having this right now and I'm really excited to see, what I can do with this. Probably gonna do a couple portrait challenges to see if I can out bokeh myself or some other photographers. And I don't know, we'll see what else I can come up with, but wanted to give you my first impressions for now. So yeah, this thing is a beast, it's heavy. And the internet, you guys seem to love it, especially on Instagram. Everybody's like, God damn, I love that lens. Some people are saying they'd sell everything to buy this lens. And I don't think I would do that at all, actually, because this is not a practical lens. But yeah, that's it. Let me know, what do you know about this lens? Any crazy stuff you've seen on the internet, just any tips, any information? Talk to me in the comments. I'm really curious what you all have to say because you clearly have a lot to say. But yeah, until the next video, I'm gonna make more. Like I said, there's gonna be some interesting stuff coming out with this. So you'll see it in the next couple videos. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And until the next one, y'all, peace.